In today's video, I'm exploring the lesser visited southwest corner of Mount Tahoma, also known as Mount Rainier. The day starts in lowland forest and eventually leads me towards the mountain's massive southwest face, camera in hand. Let's dive in.
In this town a few days ago, the girl I come to see, you know I love her so. We live in a shack up on the hill, and I'm behind the rain.
So today is all about Tahoma, also known as Mount Rainier. This is the highest point in Washington State, the largest volcano in the contiguous United States. And personally, it is an exciting day for me as I plan to reach an alpine zone I have never explored before. So I've seen Tahoma from nearly every other angle, from Mowich and Summit Lake to the northwest, from Burroughs to the north, from the Sunrise area to the northeast, Tipsu to the east, and Paradise and Tatoosh from the southeast and the south. But this section has stayed out of my reach, at least until now, until today. So I want to bring you all along, not just for the adventure, but for the photography. A few miles into the trail, it's going to be clear that conditions will be shifting. We're going to have dry trail at first, and then by my estimation, deep snow by 5,000 feet. So I'm going to need to stay flexible, but the goal is simple. Move with care, shoot with intention, and let the mountain call the shots. So let's get going.
Somehow, do you believe me? I'm tired of seeing.
So I am a few miles in now. Up to this point, it has been classic West Slopes mountain forest, huge timber, ferns everywhere, just lush greenery, frequent streams and creek crossings. And I have hit my first patch of snow right at this minor creek crossing here. The light is still a little high and flat, but I'm watching out for how it's filtering through the canopy and keeping an eye out for compositions that tell the story of transition from winter to spring, forest to alpine. But after this quick break, I am gonna keep marching on. I have still several miles and several thousand feet of elevation gain, and I cannot wait to get into the alpine and look up at that southwest face at Tahoma. Quite the view, huh? Well, I've pushed past probably the thickest parts of the forest, and I am now in a completely snow-filled landscape. There will be no trail to be seen from here on out, just navigating the snow slopes, keep moving in the direction of my destination. As you can see, Rainier, Tahoma is dominating the horizon, and even though I have probably another mile or two and another 1,000 feet of elevation gain, the view is definitely going to make it a bit more enjoyable. Anyway, I am going to march on and hopefully get to the destination, spread out, scout some shots, and really start creating as the light improves. So, march on. Well, I am finally getting a view of our objective. I'll be going right into this gap between these two mounds, going diagonally up left and then diagonally up right to the high point there. It looks a little bit forested, but I think there's going to be some amazing views from up there. So this first shot, this is all created by shadows in the foreground area. Let me show you all what I'm looking at. So as you can see, there's a pattern created by shadows cast by the trees behind me and to the left. This is going to come down to how high or low I'm shooting when I take this shot, and it's going to either compress or open up those layers. And I am here shooting with my A7R5. I have my 20-70 f4 lens. And just for starters, I'm shooting this at f8, and I'm getting away with 1/200th of a shutter speed while keeping an ISO low. So I'm not going to be using a tripod for this. I'd much rather shoot freely, and so I can adjust as needed for my composition. This first full view of the southwest face really stopped me in my tracks. The diagonals in the foreground weren't quite perfect for composition, but the way they interacted with the mountain was really striking. Right away, I felt drawn to edit this one in black and white. That version brings out the shapes and the textures in a way that color cannot. I'd be curious which version, color or black and white, speaks to you more. For me, the color captures the feeling and experience of being there, but I'd be more likely to print and hang the black and white version. These trees have so much character. How they survive up here among the harsh winter elements is beyond me. Anyway, this grouping of about 6 trees has caught my eye. I'm gonna bust out my telephoto and maybe even set up on a tripod to get this one right. Not sure if this one's gonna turn out, but I'm willing to give it a try. As a general rule of thumb, I would not advise extending the center column as it really creates instability. I'm doing it to get the height that I want, and I'm just going to make sure that it's stable enough by checking and magnifying the shot that I've taken, just make sure we're solid. I'd say it is very good, creatively speaking, to surprise yourself with what you create. And this image definitely surprised me. It leans abstract, and a lot like the last image, I ended up loving it in both color and monochrome for different reasons. All right, well, I think it is time to capture some details on the mountain with my telephoto lens. Believe it or not, I do not have my 100-400 with me. I know that sounds like blasphemy. This is my 70-300, which is quite a bit lighter than my 100-400, and I'd say a little bit more fitting for big missions like this where I've covered many miles and a ton of elevation gain, just quite a bit lighter. So let me show you all what I am looking at. So here we are at 70 millimeters, and there's a variety of details that I'm going to zoom into. One of which is absolutely this glacier, which I'm pretty sure is the Tahoma Glacier. Then I'm really intrigued by these peaks up here, and they won't have light on them too much longer as the sun keeps veering to the north. So I'm going to capture those as well. And then this face is absolutely incredible. Almost looks like it belongs in Alaska. And as the sun moves a bit further north, there's going to be more and more side light showing the details and contours on that particular face. So might capture that last. These days, I think it's important to document the glaciers we still get to witness. This was actually my first time photographing the Tahoma Glacier, and I feel like its remoteness made it all the more meaningful. This next telephoto image of the rocky spires above it didn't quite translate the way I had hoped. Worth the attempt for sure, but the other images stood out more to me at least. Now, this final telephoto moment, this one really stuck. This space is called the Sunset Amphitheater, which couldn't be more fitting. I was drawn to this rocky point centered in the bowl, but ended up composing tighter on the dramatic face coming off Liberty Cap. This section of Tahoma is as raw and as wild as it gets. Well, the light is fading, so if I'm ever gonna track up this canvas, it is now. I might retry this shot where there's a pattern of light and shadows in the snow with Mount Rainier in the background. There are amazing lines and textures in the snow here with a little bit of just soft light on it. I think this is gonna work out well. All right. I like this. Go F8, low ISO, slow down that shutter to 1/110th of a second. Polarize for the sky. This last landscape image, honestly, was one I was proud of, but something felt a little off balance. Maybe it was the weight of the trees on either side. Honestly, I'm still debating whether I love this frame or not. To remedy this, I did shift to the right and framed a slightly tighter shot, removing the trees, and this one did it for me. This felt like the hero shot of the evening of the mountain. This is the kind of image that sticks with me long after the light fades. The last few seconds of light of an extraordinary day in Mount Rainier National Park. Thank you all for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a bit sporadic in how often I share these videos, but know that even if it's been a few weeks, I've got one in the hopper and one is coming. So thank you all for being here. Leave any feedback in the comments below, suggestions for future videos. Really appreciate it, and we will see you all in the next video. Cheers.
What you say.